This story is about the time my dad looked me in the face and said, "Get out." So I did, and then he went back on it and called the police and said that I ran away when he told me to leave. He kicked me out. This was the summer before my senior year. I believe this happened August 2015. My mom was mad at me. She was yelling at me. I can't remember what it was about, if it was about the guy I was dating at the time that she didn't like, which, fair. He was a POS, but she was mad at me and I was sick of her yelling. You know what? That's exactly what it was, because my dad was on her side. This is what made my dad kick me out. It's all coming back. Why is there a Coke can just chilling in the background? That ruins the aesthetic. I love Coke, but I'm not getting, this isn't sponsored, so I'm not giving you a shout out. All they ever did was fight with each other and not give a crap about my emotional health. So why, as a senior, are you all of a sudden gonna care who I hang out with and what I do and how that could affect me? They were grasping for control in their lives because of their failing marriage, okay? I wasn't about to be a therapy tool for them. So I remember looking at my dad as they're both yelling at me about my running performance, my grades, and about the boy. I look at my dad and I go, "I'm sick of this. Can I leave?" And that's when he points at me and says, "Yeah, get out." Okay. So I go to my room, I pack a quick bag of all the essentials, you know, a few clothes to sleep in, my phone obviously, and my phone charger, and then I get in my car and I dip. I went to my friend Kendall's house first. Should I not name these people? I went to my friend Kendall's house first and I spent the night there, and I didn't know this, but her dad, I guess, called my dad and let him know I was there, just so they wouldn't get in trouble. I would have appreciated if they didn't know where I was, but my dad had a tracker in my car at this time anyway, I think. So that's a story for another time. Violating all kind of boundaries when I wasn't even doing shit. I didn't go to a single high school party. I didn't have SEX until college, so I don't know why they needed a tracker in my car. I guess it was good on the dad, though, for doing that, because at least he cared about where I was. My own parents really didn't, because for all he knew, I could have been making it up, or something more serious could have happened as to why I left, so it was good for him to check in. But then the next night, I went to stay at another friend's, and I wish I didn't stay at their house, because the only way they would let me stay there is if I went to church the next day. That's some indoctrination. And then that whole time at church, I remember the father of the family I was staying with, he was the one doing the Sunday school, and he decided to make that whole lesson about obey thy parents and like honor thy mother and thy father, and like you're gonna burn an HE double hockey sticks if you don't convert. And he would just make eye contact with me, and it's like, okay, did you guys let me stay with you because you actually wanted to help me, or because you wanted to convert me? Because this is uncomfortable. And then their son had the audacity to ask me how I liked it. Not much, not at all, because this was a setup. By Sunday though, so the day of church, I had a place that I was gonna go. I had a friend whose mom was gonna let me stay there and get a job to help with the bills around the house until I turned 18 and could go get an apartment myself. My dad thought he would tell me to get out, and after a day or two of living in my car, I would come home crying. But no, I was gonna leave. I had 4 months until I turned 18. I was just gonna leave. I just dropped my whole phone. Is that kind of back how it was? Okay, anyways. Back to the scheduled programming. I thought if I have a job, I can get emancipated, if anything, but with only 4 months to go, I doubt the police are going to do anything, because everything online says they don't normally pursue it. Well, in a conservative city, they might, because those cops have nothing better to do than power trip over kids in harmful situations. You know, instead of help the kids, we're going to embarrass them. Imagine my surprise when the same cops that failed to help me after my mom tried to unalive me by, you know, showed up when I ran away from home and forced me to go back with threats. Before my friend could even take me to my other friends where I was going to permanently stay, their mom started getting calls from the police threatening them, saying, "You're aiding and abetting a runaway right now." And I'm like, runaway? That's when her mom came to me and said, "I thought he kicked you out." And I'm like, "He did." I said, "Can I leave?" And he said, "Get out." That's really what happened. I'm telling you, Cheryl. Cheryl, I don't lie like the church. I'm telling you the truth. But Cheryl was understandably shook, and she said, "Unfortunately, I can't take you anywhere other than home, because we're gonna get arrested for helping you if we take you to your friend's house." So I just looked at her and I said, "Well, I don't want you to get in trouble. This is my barrel of monkeys. Just take me back. Take me back to the cuckoo shack." So she drives me home, and there's an officer waiting for us in the driveway, and that officer just has a power trip the whole time. He's so smug to Cheryl, my friend's mom. He goes on and on about how she could be arrested and prosecuted for this, and how if my parents want to press charges, she's in deep doo-doo. Cheryl's like the nicest lady in this instance. Yes, they wanted me to become Christian like them, like for real. I dated their son, and that's a story for another time. Oh my God, how many times am I going to say that in a story? Here's other messed up things that happened to me. Want to hear? I need a therapist. Yes, they did kind of have ulterior motives that were shady, but she really was genuinely trying to help me in that moment, because she knew what my mom was like, and I needed that. I didn't care how sketchy the help was. it was better than my parents, because they obviously didn't give a crap about me. So at least someone else does. Of course, they don't talk to me now that I'm trans, but I kind of blocked everyone, so that's my doing. I just get out of the car and I tell the cop, this doesn't involve them anymore. They brought me home. Let's go up to the house. So as we're walking up to the house, the cop starts going on at me like, you can't just run away. That's really immature. You're about to graduate high school. This isn't how it can be in the real world. And I'm like, this isn't how it can be in the real world, because in the real world, I will be living alone. I was just trying to do that quicker. Sir, how can you say that when you're the one cock blocking my infiltration into the real world? I hate cops. They're so dusty. Of course, when we get up to the house, my parents are smug and gloating. I try to explain my side to the cop, and I say, my dad told me to get out. He literally said, get out. And my dad, he goes back on it. That's not what I said. You misinterpreted. I said, go outside for a bit, and you took off. And I'm like, whatever, fine. I took off because clearly the cop was not going to believe me. The cop literally looked at me and said, well, you're so emotional about this. You're kind of being rude to your parents. It makes me kind of want to side with them. Maybe I have a right to be rude. Maybe I have a right to be upset because my parents aren't protecting me. They're the ones hurting me. They're trying to keep me a prisoner. They took away all my electronics. They took away my car keys. They would take away things in my room to entertain myself. The whole summer, it was terrible. Yes, they were still feeding me and they were still giving me water and clothes and a roof over my head. They took everything else from me, all because I wouldn't run. And that didn't stop until I said, okay, I'll run my senior year. And when I finally agreed to go back and start running, I got all my privileges back. Because this all happened at the end of summer, beginning of my senior year, before the season started. Worst time of my life. But I'm like, okay, whatever. This cop's obviously gonna side with them because they're the adults. I just have to take this up the ass and go to my room. So that's exactly what happened. I remember this conversation the cop and I had on the porch because I excused myself away from my parents to cry. And he let me go away to cry. But then he got impatient after 30 seconds and said, come on, I have stuff to do. You need to go in there and talk to them and make up. They're your parents. Make up with them. And I tried to explain to him how abusive my whole life had been, but he didn't want to hear it. I told him, I'm 18 in 3 months. Surely that is enough time to prosecute me as a runaway. If I just leave, no one's going to care. The internet says that you guys don't care about kids that are almost 18 like that. It's usually younger kids that run away. And he's like, no, actually, if you're still in school, it doesn't matter if you're 18. You still have to live with your parents or we won't allow you to graduate. And I looked at him and I said, fine, I'll drop out, get my emancipation, and then go back and repeat senior year. And he didn't know what to say about that other than, well, that's stupid. And I'm like, actually, your rules are stupid, and that's what I have to do to get around them because my parents are abusing me and you don't care, then that's what I'll do. I'll defer senior year, emancipate myself, or wait till I'm 19, I guess, and then finish it, since apparently Ohio has this weird law. Can anyone familiar with that tell me if that's true? When I was 17, going on 18, is it true that it doesn't matter once I turn 18 that I'm still in school, I have to live with my parents, that you can't go live somewhere else and finish school at 18 in Ohio, or you're a runaway? Because I thought once you turn 18, you're an adult. But apparently not in Fairfield County. Apparently not in Lancaster, Ohio. I want to know. Did he make that up? Did that cop make that up just to get control of me? I ended up staying at home. I turned 18. I ended up finishing my senior year there because my mom got the boot before I did. That's what's funny. Literally 3 months later, she got cuffed and arrested and was gone. Ow, I just hurt myself. Got an owie. Yeah, that cop didn't care about me at all. He did not care about me at all. He thought I was the problem, because it's always the kid, right? If the kid's running away, it must be because they're unruly, not because they're running away from something. No, it's just because they suck. I hope that cop never gets a gift on Christmas for the rest of time. I'll see you guys next week.